Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, here to Sports Time HQ. I'm your host, Fernando. Joining with me today is not one co-host, but two co-hosts, our brand new co-host, Gary Dombeck, and of course, bringing back, as always, my great co-host, Keith, as well. Keith, I'll start with you. How are you?
I am good. Good to have Gary on. I mean, three co-hosts is always good. So, yeah, more football to talk about, more people.
Gary, how you feeling being on the show?
I'm doing pretty good. I just want to take a second to thank you guys for bringing me on, showing me some love, and I agree. I just want to talk some football.
Yeah, and Keith and I will be sure to trash talk the Browns for you.
Oh, that's an easy one for me, having a wife that's a Bengals fan.
Everybody. Oh, are you?
Yeah, not me. The wife is a Bengals fan, so
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, she'd definitely be thrown in the trash if she was around.
She's not around this time. She can't hit you with the frying pan.
Can't with the frying pan. Well, she'll be back later. She's just out walking the dog.
Oh, okay. Walking Milo along. Yeah. But it's the combine. Some news and notes is basically the combine starting. We're going to have some rookie quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs showing their stuff on Saturday. I don't know. Do you guys have any people you're in mind looking at in the draft that you think could be a riser in the thing in Indianapolis this weekend? Any idea?
What's the talk? Like quarterback Spencer Rattler, I heard he could be going up, or Drake May could be, climbing up boards, but I haven't delved too much into it yet. That's kind of the ones that kind of stuck out so far without, anybody seeing anything.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I haven't dove too much into it, but I know that Drake May is constantly rising more and more, and I saw that Caleb isn't even gonna throw, so I don't know what team's gonna think of that. I don't really think there's too big of an issue. See what the Bears do.
Yeah, I mean, right now we have Caleb Williams kind of a lock for the number one overall pick, but do you think Drake May could actually be drafted first?
I don't know. I don't think so, to be honest.
Okay.
I mean, it looks like it's Caleb Williams or nothing right now, or you know what I mean. The Bears decide to not take him, then I go like Marvin Harrison or someone like that. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be Williams.
Yeah, I think it's Caleb or trade. That's really it. That's what I think.
if say the Bears keep the number one overall pick, they don't draft Caleb Williams. They're drafting Marvin Harrison, right?
Yeah, well, that's where I am definitely. If they don't trade it, like you said, they have to. Otherwise, then I don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Who else do you pick? They're not. You're clearly missing out on the top two best players, in my opinion.
I don't think. Yeah. I don't think Drake May is that guy, to be honest. But
I don't either. If I'm going to be completely honest with you, I watched him a lot in the past couple of years, and I just don't really think that he's been able to take we'll say 3 and some 4-star talent around him and do too much with it. You kind of see UNC be a bottom 25 ranked team at best. So I don't really see what a lot of people see in him. He's shown some flashes of being a guy that already has that NFL caliber play style, but just what I see, I completely agree with that. I don't really think he's the guy. I think Caleb's the obvious one, and yeah, if it's not trade or Caleb, then you have to go get Marvin Harrison and get yourself the playmaker that they haven't had in a while.
Which they won't be, because it'll be the Patriots. They'll be getting Marvin Harrison in this draft.
You keep dreaming.
Words just came out that they're going to be drafting a quarterback at number 3, and I have a feeling it's going to be. Why are you drafting a quarterback at 3? I just don't. I don't see it.
Are they not like the favorites to trade back? Is that not what the Patriots want to do?
There's rumors that they could be trading back, but here's my thought. So I saw a trade earlier this week saying, what if you trade the number 9 overall pick, who Chicago owns right now? They trade up to number 3, so they keep 1 and 3. Justin Fields goes to the Patriots, and next year's first goes to the Patriots. Patriots get the number 3 overall pick, and they send a 3rd round pick of next year. Realistically, that means the Bears would be getting Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison. Patriots, they get Justin Fields, a quarterback that they really need, and they can get Neighbors, the wide receiver, at number 9. I mean, that's the most recent trade I've seen for the Patriots, but I think Marvin Harrison. It goes Marvin Harrison, and there's a tier break for wide receivers in this class.
Either way, I don't think that's bad for the Patriots. I just like we're all going off what the Patriots have done in previous years. And I know it's like a new regime now, basically with Bill gone, but I still don't see him doing it. I mean, I think they need to go make some good moves. But I don't really see that happening. For you, if I was a Patriots fan, I would like that. I don't mind getting Justin Fields, getting Neighbors. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm sitting here as an Ohio State fan. Like, hey, if you guys get Marv or Justin Fields, I'll be happy with it regardless. But I think that getting Fields isn't a bad idea at all, especially seeing that you guys will probably get the 9 spot and be able to take a wide receiver. I completely agree in the fact that Marvin Harrison is S tier, and then there's everybody else. I don't know if this is more of a hot take or not, but I would say that Adunze is the wide receiver 2 in this class. And I would say go with him if he's there. I don't know if he will be. I know the Giants are also looking to draft a wide receiver. Yeah, I don't know how that would work out, but I think that if you guys are sitting at the 9 spot and either Adunze or Neighbors is there, you have to take him.
I think it's funny you saying the Giants need a wide receiver. Didn't they have the most money in the wide receiver position like a year ago or something? It's like, but they still need receivers.
Yeah, all that money went to Kenny Galladay.
Yeah,
Darius Slayton was their best wide receiver last year.
Yep.
But I agree with you though, Gary. I think Adunze is the number 2 wide receiver in the draft, and the only issue is I don't think he's going to be there at number 9. That's my only concern. But
yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, like I said, the Giants I think are going to snag up a wide receiver, and it'll probably be him. So if Neighbors is there, then yeah, I say pull the trigger on him.
Okay. Well, free agency is around the corner. The new NFL League year starts in just about 2 weeks. So that's going to be interesting. We're going to see a lot of news coming out on whether or not quarterbacks are going to be staying, running backs are going to be staying, and other positions. Today, we're going to be talking about quarterbacks and running backs. Before I put in all the free agent quarterbacks that we're going to talk about, there's a lot of teams that could use a quarterback this year. And whether or not they go for free agency or whether or not they go for the draft. In the AFC, it's the Patriots, the Steelers, the Titans, the Broncos, the Raiders, and then in the NFC, it's the Commanders, Falcons, Bucks, Panthers. I put the Saints, and I also put Chicago, 2 question marks. The only reason that New Orleans could go get a quarterback, is the fact that Derek Carr is just not the guy.
Are we going to see for all these, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, New England, across the board?
Well, probably we will, because Hunter Henry is also going to be gone. So it's going to be quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, all Patriots. Well, we got All Talk Sports, of course, in the chat. They want to know who's going to be the Patriots starting quarterback. Keith, I'll start with you. Who do you think? Do you think they're going to look in the draft, free agency, or a trade?
I think they'll draft somebody. Who, I don't know. But they also need, we talked about it on the show, maybe Jimmy G comes back as that veteran experience. I'm not saying he starts, but I'm saying they're going to bring someone in to be a backup there. So maybe that, I don't know, they should draft someone. Who, I don't know, because like they said, they might move back and see what happens. If your trade happens like you want it, it's Justin Fields, it'll be good. But I don't really know from what's out there, because I don't see them getting like Kirk Cousins, even if say Russ sells out his contract or whatever becomes free. I don't see them going for Russ. I think they're better off just going for a young guy out of the draft, really.
Okay. Gary, your thoughts on
Yeah, I'm going to agree with the fact that they'll probably draft somebody, but if they don't, I would actually like to see them go after Kirk Cousins. I've been a fan of Kirk Cousins for a while now. I think that he's good enough to get the job done. I mean, we see what he's done with Jettas, and there hasn't been too much team success, but Jettas is the best wide receiver in the league right now. And yeah, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you're not going to get the ball, then there's nothing really going for you. So I've always been a big fan of Kirk Cousins. I think he fills up the stat sheet. He's good enough to get the job done, and I would really like to see the Pats go out and get him.
I love the Kirk Cousins shout, because Keith knows that I like Kirk Cousins. I like my cousin Keith.
I don't mind Kirk Cousins. My problem is Kirk Cousins doesn't want money and he wants to win a championship. Are you winning a championship with the Patriots?
I think there's a possibility. I think
Not
there's a
a
possibility.
chance. Not next
Come
year. I'm
on.
not saying in 5 years, but say in the next 2 years where his contract will probably be, he's not winning with the Patriots.
Well, this is going to lead into, and I'll answer this first as well. So, should the Pats draft Jaden Daniels, which I actually don't mind Jaden Daniels. I think he's better than Drake May, in my opinion. I like him over Drake May, my opinion. Sign Kirk, like Gary was saying, and then draft Marvin Harrison at the 3, or do they trade down for multiple firsts? Maybe even get the Justin Fields trade that I was talking about earlier. I think personally, as much as I love Kirk, I think they're going to want too much for Kirk. And I think if Russell Wilson gets cut, he's guaranteed $39 million from the Broncos. So he could be signing a veteran minimum to kind of prove himself still. I think if you sign Russ, you draft a quarterback in the 2nd round, get Marvin Harrison at number 3, you still have a future quarterback, whether or not it's a late, early 2nd round pick, or if you trade into the late first to get that 5th year option. I don't think you can go bad with that. I think as a Patriots fan, I'd be fine with that. Go get yourself a future quarterback, learn from Russ behind Russ for a year or 2. And then now you start him. You have Marvin Harrison there. Maybe you sign another receiver. I like it. That's my take on that.
Going by just the question, I think they should draft Daniels, but if they, but I don't think they will. I think they'll do their usual and trade down for multiple picks. I think that's what they'll do.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind any of these options here. I'll stick with my B pick. I mean, I've said it a lot. I've said it a lot to people I know. I just don't really think this is a good quarterback draft. I really think it's an overrated class as a whole. I don't know how many guys are really going to last in the league in this draft. Maybe 1 or 2 at best, and there's a good 4 that are going to be going in the 1st round. And I don't know. I'm just not really a big fan of May or Daniels or even Caleb. That's just my 2 cents. I'll stick to my Kirk and Marv pick. But I don't really think you can go wrong with either one if you're the Patriots.
Okay. Well, let's get into our free agent quarterbacks. And we have some of them that are going to be, they're big names that could find a home in this offseason. Some of them are big names. Come on, Keith. You know for a fact some of these have had some success in recent teams.
I'm just laughing. I'm not disagreeing.
Oh, you're disagreeing. I already know you are.
So
Kirk
you brought Gary onto be the peacemaker. That's what you did.
Yeah. Gary's a peacemaker. You and I bicker back and forth. Kirk Cousins, obviously, I think he is right now the top quarterback in the free agent market. Right now, based on Spot Track's market value, he's projected to sign a $39.3 million yearly deal, which would lead about to a 3-year, $118.1 million deal. I like Kirk a lot, and that's the reason why I don't think the Patriots will get him, is because there's too much money that Kirk would get. And that's the reason why. And I don't think the Patriots like paying that much. Let's be real. So unless the new organization wants to pay much, wants to pay a bag, that's fine. But I don't think Kirk is going to go to the Patriots.
Nah, Kirk resigns with the Vikings, and the Vikings go pick up Drake May or someone else. Maybe like these guys just to sit behind them later on. I don't know. They pick someone else in the draft. But yeah, Kirk resigns. It's not about money. They'll hopefully keep JJ. And they'll fight on and try and make playoffs and see how far they can go. But I think, Kirk back with the Vikings for me.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. I don't really think that. Again, I don't really think the Patriots are going to. It's just something that I would like to see happen. Obviously, you guys are right. He's going to want a lot of money, he's going to want money, but he's also going to want to win. So
yeah,
I think with what the Vikings have, they can win to an extent. As long as he's got Jay Jettas in his back pocket, he's got something working for him. So I think he'll probably re-sign with the Vikings as well.
I agree. I think he's going to go back to the Vikings. The only concern I have with the Vikings is there's rumors that they're going to try and trade Justin Jefferson. And I think if Jefferson gets traded, then I think Kirk is going to want to know where he gets traded, because I think Kirk would want to go with Justin Jefferson. That's my thought.
I'm not sure about that.
You don't think so? You don't think so?
I'm not sure.
Well, maybe if Kirk gets paid, then yeah, but he'll be fine wherever. But
I just don't know what the Vikings will be doing trading him.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what they would be doing either. That's,
I mean,
Would they get a whole NFL team for him? Like,
that's it.
I
you're
mean-
you're probably going to get a bunch of picks or like stuff like that. But it's stuff
Right.
that the Vikings, I feel, they're more in the win in the next few years than blowing it up, and starting over again. That's how I feel.
okay. Well, the Vikings, they do have right now $35.8 million in cap. So technically, they don't have enough to pay what the market value is for Kirk. But I'm sure Kirk wouldn't mind taking a team-friendly deal to stay with them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially if Jay Jetta stays there. So we all have the Vikings is where my cousin's going to stay. Going to Ryan Tannehill because he's been kind of floating around in a lot of areas for teams. Whether or not he's a starter, I don't think so. But there's rumors that he could be a starter. Right now, his market value is $4.9 million. They're projected to have him only sign a 1-year deal. My only thought is he's going to go to a team that needs a quarterback that would sign him as a starter, draft a quarterback in the draft, and then transition to that rookie quarterback. That's my thought and where Tannehill's going to go.
Tannehill can go work in Costco for all I care. The guy's done. I don't care about him. He's going to go be the backup at Washington, so I'll keep it quick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was just about to say, how does the Birmingham Stallion sound? I mean,
yeah.
like really, I honestly have no idea. And I really couldn't care less where he ends up. How about we'll just say like, I don't know, the Falcons.
Falcons?
I don't
Okay.
know.
Well, I have him going to the Falcons. I think he will go to
Do
the
you?
Falcons. It looks like he's linked to the Falcons, and they
no
need a
idea.
quarterback. They need a quarterback. So I think Tannehill will be the starter for maybe a game or two, transition to whoever's the quarterback next. Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod hasn't had bad seasons. He has had some bad seasons, but he's not that bad. He's not that bad, guys. Guys, I'm trying to be an advocate here.
I
for some of
actually
these
care
players.
more about Tyrod than I do than Tannehill. So
Yeah.
we're okay.
Yeah.
Here. We're okay here.
And you wanted to laugh there. Tyrod's about 34 and a half years old. His market value right now is $3.3 million. He's projected to sign about a 2-year contract, projected for 6.7. I like Taylor, and I think it's a cheap deal. I don't see him going to the Patriots, but it would be a good veteran to go to the Patriots. But I'll listen to you guys first. Where do you have any thoughts of where you think he's going to go?
Yeah. Gardner's out in the Colts, and I think Tyrod could go in as the backup. And my reason being is that they could scheme similar plays for Richardson and Tyrod because they've got the running game. And, we've seen Richardson go down this season. Who's to say he won't again? By the way he plays, he's going to get, he needs to learn when to run and when to not. He was like diving head first into defenders. So I think as a cheap kind of deal to back up in the Colts would make sense for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that either. Maybe relink back up in Cleveland. Who knows? I mean, we're recently I've seen something about we're gonna have some competition for Flacco, so I don't really know if we're gonna be able to sign him back. I know the New England Patriots are actually rumored to try to go after him as well. So I think we're gonna be somewhat active in the QB market this offseason. And Tyrod Taylor, not a guy that I would want, but probably a guy that we would take a look at.
So you're predicting him to go to your Browns?
Sure, we'll throw that out there.
You think Joe Flacco is not going to be the backup anymore?
I don't know.
Watson's
I
gonna be the
mean,
guy?
if I'm going to be honest with you, if I'm Joe Flacco and I played the way that I did, obviously the playoffs is another story. But if I played the way I did and got my team to that spot, especially after all the injuries and turmoil that we went through this season, I mean, I would want a starting spot.
Okay.
The Patriots, Joe Flacco. There we go.
I like that a lot. I will say I do like Joe Flacco a lot. I think it would be working very well. My take on Tyrod Taylor is I think he'll go to Carolina. I think he's going to go there, maybe give some competition to Bryce Young. I don't think Bryce is the guy, personally. I never thought Bryce Young was the guy. I think Tyrod will give some competition and give some veteran advice to Bryce.
I mean, it's also, like I can see that because it's also a chance for him to get in there. And, like you said, Bryce isn't the guy. Bryce definitely didn't look good. So
it's a cheap deal, too. I'm sure you signed
and
a cheap deal.
if you remember, like Tyrod's been very unlucky in his career. he got the Bills to the playoffs all them years ago, and then didn't he have that incident with the Chargers where the doctor like stabbed him in the lung when he was the starter originally? So he has been unlucky. He's not the worst quarterback you'll ever see.
Okay. Gary?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be upset with that either. Gives some veteran insight, and yeah, if it's a chance at him getting on the field, I don't think that he would be upset with that either. Yeah, the Panthers, sure.
Okay. Next one is Gardner Minshew. Minshew Magic. Love Minshew Magic. Love him a lot. Right now, he's projected to get about $5.3 million a year, which I think is a little bit too much, a little bit on the pricey side for Minshew Magic. But obviously, we know backups are going to become a storyline from last season with all the injuries that we've had with starting quarterbacks. He's projected to sign about a 2-year deal. I really think that this is a place for Minshew to go is the New York Jets. I think the Jets is a good possibility. Rodgers, obviously, he was hurt, but if Rodgers goes down again, who's your backup? There's really no one that can take the team to the playoffs. Minshew, I think he can. I think he can take that team to the playoffs. So
I like
him on the Jets.
I don't mind that, except if you read all the reports this week, the Jets have just been a holy mess. I mean, if you believe the Miko Hardman stuff, but they've been a mess for years. So like, whatever. I'm just throwing one out because it's my homer team for fun because Drew Lock is gone. Maybe he'll just go to Seattle. It's back.
Oh, okay.
It's no real reason to it other than Drew Lock's gone. We need a backup. I mean, Gino, we missed Gino for a game, or I think it was a game anyways last year. I mean, Gardner Minshew's a solid guy to have. Like he's shown he can be a starter in the league.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a guy that I could see going to Washington. I know that team was thrown out earlier. I know that they're riding with Sam Howell right now, but towards middle to the end of the season, he didn't really show a lot. And if he needs some veteran insight, I think that he can get that as well from Gardner Minshew.
Sorry, I was laughing at the chat, by the way.
I was too.
At the chat.
I was too, and we'll get right into that chat in a second. But do you think Gardner Minshew could also land as a Colt or as a Lion? Lion, I could. There's a possibility for the Lions. I just don't know if they really need to pay Minshew a $5 million backup deal option when I think they could use more money on different positions.
Yeah, it's not going to be a Lion. I mean, the Lions are going to pay thing anyways. What's his face? Forgot his name.
Gary, any thoughts on a Colt or a Lion?
Yeah, maybe a Colt again. I don't think there's a chance he goes to Detroit.
Okay. Zach Wilson, does he deserve a starting role anywhere? The answer is no. And I think that's consensus here.
Nowhere in the NFL, I'll tell you that.
Maybe the XFL.
No, CFL. Come up here. I can shout at him.
College. No.
Yeah. Zach Wilson, he had his chances. Let's be real. He blew them. He had the biggest chance last year. Last year when Rodgers went down, that was his biggest chance to really prove that he could be a quarterback, and he's not. The team's just terrible. Some could even say Gary's better than Zach Wilson.
Yeah,
I think so.
I would.
I think some are saying he is better than Zach Wilson. I don't even think it's a think. I think we know Gary is better. Somebody out there does, anyways.
Yeah, no, I definitely do. Yeah. I trust myself going out there when I would trust him.
Well, let's look at other free agent quarterbacks: Jacoby Brissett, Mitch Trubisky, Marcus Mariota, Joshua Dobbs, Joe Flacco. Any of these players really give you an idea of? Do you have any ideas that one of these players will be having a better chance to get a job than any of the others? I'll start with mine. I think, like Gary was saying, Joe Flacco. I like Joe. Joe Flacco looked really good. Personally, I'm on the boat on him going to New England. I think that would be the perfect opportunity if they don't get Russ or if they don't get Kirk. If they draft a quarterback and it's a rookie quarterback, get Joe, keep Joe in there for a veteran advice.
Yeah, Flacco's one that sticks out by miles. Dobbs, he was kind of nearly the story of last year until he kind of bummed out at the end of the season, and then Flacco took over, being the guy that came in and was the big hero. Mariota, Nah. Trubisky, nah. He should come up and play CFL up here. And Jacoby Brissett, he's a good backup for someone. But Flacco sticks out. I already called the Patriots to you, so yeah, let's go to Patriots.
Okay. Patriots for
Yeah.
Dobbs, you said?
No, for Flacco. Flacco's
Oh,
the best.
okay.
Yeah, I like that move. I like it. I saw it. I saw on Instagram that the Browns were going to have competition for him, and one of the teams linked to him was the Patriots. So, I mean, if we swing and miss on him, then I would like to see him in New England. Sure, why not? And if that were to happen, then I would want Marvin Harrison to go there because Uncle Joe slinging the rock around in the backyard with his kids. I mean, what's better to get a young stud like Marvin Harrison besides you to do it? I know I threw Cleveland out there for I forgot who it was, but I'm gonna do it again for Jacoby Brissett. Come on back, please. I love Jacoby Brissett. He was great. I won't say great. He was solid for us. I would love to see him there again. And I completely agree. Half these guys should probably be in.
Should we get you Johnny Manziel as well back? While we're at it? Call up Johnny, get them all back.
Yeah, if he actually put the work into, read plays and find out our playing scheme, then yeah, why not? But no, I mean Trubisky, Mariota, and Dobbs. I couldn't really care less. I don't think they're gonna make an impact on any of the teams that they go to, anyways.
They can come. They can go on the couch, sit on the couch,
Sure.
like Joe Flacco did. Wait until they'll probably be a mid-season signing. Personally, if a team needs a quarterback, they can get there. You also had Tyrod Taylor going to the Browns. That was the other guy that you were mentioning.
Right.
So obviously, there is free agent quarterbacks that could make an impact to any NFL team that they sign. Personally, the most impactful one, and that's when we're going to draw back to Baker Mayfield. I think it's Baker. I think Baker needs to stay in Tampa, and I think if he stays in Tampa, that team will be a playoff team again because I think he looked very good, and he'll get a bag there. Right now, I think his market value is $27.1 million a year, projected to sign 4 years, $108.5 million deal. Big signing for him if he does get that. But yeah, that's going to be the most impactful quarterback signing in my opinion because he's still not an old quarterback. Baker is 28 years old, just about to turn 29.
Yeah, but he's also not very good all the time.
He looked good last year.
I gave him that year, right? How many times I said on the show I gave him his due last year. But other than that, he was terrible. But
he was a Brown. That's why. Sorry, Gary.
You want him back as well, Gary? Actually, we added him to the list.
I'm sorry. Did he not break the rookie touchdown record after not playing the first 3 games? Huh.
Yeah, but he still sucks.
I think he still sucks. Is he still a Brown? Is he still a Brown?
Listen, okay. If you guys want me to talk about, if you guys
let's
want
talk
me to
about Watson. How you signed him a full bag and he sucks.
Listen, he's rusty.
Is that what they're saying? Is that what they're saying in Cleveland?
Yeah. Okay. If you really want me to talk about Watson, he's looked terrible. He really has. But I think what people are tending to forget is that we really did see the best of Flacco the second half of that Ravens game when he got hurt. Finished the game 14 for 14, like 150 yards and a touchdown. I don't know if he could have done that for the rest of the year, but who's to say he can't? I mean, again, we saw it on the road in Baltimore against the best defense in the league, especially at home. So who really knows what we would have gotten out of Watson? It didn't look great in the beginning, but we saw the best of him before he went down. So I hope that he can come back and do that, because if so, genuinely, that's all we need to be an actual contender. Yeah, that's where I'm sitting at.
I like Watson a lot. I like Watson when he played in Houston. I liked him a lot there. He was one of my favorite quarterbacks when he came out of the draft. He just hasn't looked like himself. But yeah, maybe the Browns have a chance. Maybe.
He's innocent.
Consensus: Baker stays with the Bucks with all of us.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay. The only other option, personally, in my opinion, that I actually wouldn't mind seeing is if Baker walks from Tampa and Tampa doesn't sign him, go to New England.
Everybody's going to either New England or the Browns. What's going on, guys?
No, Baker's not that. If Baker plays like he did last year and he stays like that, unless he pulled a Daniel Jones year where he played good. and then he just is terrible. But if Baker shows that he proves that he's going to be good like he did last year, I don't mind giving him a chance.
I know.
I'm not saying though sign him for that much money though. I don't want him to be signed for that much money.
I know what your plan is. If we both give your teams enough players, you'll eventually make the Super Bowl. I get it, right? I get it.
Listen, how many Super Bowls have we won versus the Seahawks?
Oh, I know. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying right now.
Okay.
It's okay. We're aware.
Let's transition to the running backs. Obviously, before we do that, if you haven't done so already, go to Underdog Fantasy, use code SportsTimeHQ. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. If you're looking for a trophy ring or a belt, go to trophysmack.com/SportsTimeHQ. So if Gary is in last place in one of your leagues, go buy him a toilet bowl trophy, or if you're like a champion like me, get a ring saying a champion, fantasy football champion. I don't know, maybe
That'll never happen.
But go to trophysmack.com/SportsTimeHQ. Let's get into the running backs. Such a sad running back environment that we are in. It's very toxic, a very toxic environment. I mean, you look at all these free agents that are right now the top free agents in the running back market. A lot of them are really good running backs or former really good running backs. Yeah, the age, they're starting to get up there in age, but all the market values, not one of these players have came in over $11 million. The top guy with the market value is $10.6 million with Josh Jacobs. We'll get with him right after we get with Derrick Henry. But Derrick Henry right now, market value $10.3 million, projected to only sign a 1-year contract. Thoughts on Derrick Henry? King Henry
goes to Baltimore. Baltimore need to stop messing around with all these Gus buses and Justice Hills and all this. And yeah, I think he goes to Baltimore and goes out trying to win a championship.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, he probably is a Raven, as much as I don't want that to happen. But Keith, I think you're stabbing Thomas right in the heart in the chat by saying they need to stop with the Gus Bus because he's a big Gus Bus fan. And
oh, really? I was like, what is this guy?
No, yeah, this guy in the chat, he's a big Gus Bus fan, but I agree with you. I mean, he's not really like I mean, the Ravens as a whole haven't had this good running back in a while. And I think that they need to go out and get Derrick Henry. And I think he's done Tennessee and he wants to win. So I see that being the most logical place for him to end up.
So I think the Ravens is probably the most logical in my opinion as well. But if you look at the chart of how much cap space these teams have, there's a particular team that can afford him just about, and a team that's trying to go for a three-peat. Kansas City. Derrick Henry to Kansas City. Yeah, they have Isaiah Pacheco. But it's just a total Kansas City move to go get Derrick Henry. You get King Henry. It's the 1-2 punch. I think it's Kansas City.
It wouldn't surprise me, but they need
I would hate it. Trust me, I would hate it.
I would too, but they need to focus on receivers. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if OBJ or someone, if you want to talk about another Raven, moving off them and going to the Chiefs or something like that. But I don't see Henry ending up in the Chiefs.
I wouldn't be surprised. If they go get a top dog in King Henry. I really hope they don't. But that would be probably my top spot for King Henry. But Ravens is a really good shout. I like the Ravens, and I think the Ravens will probably get him. But they might be looking for someone more long-term, and this is going to lead into Josh Jacobs. $10.6 million market value, projected to sign a 4-year deal. This is where I think the Ravens will go find a running back in Josh Jacobs, get a long-term running back, and now you have Josh Jacobs for long-term. That's where I'm projecting him to go. No, you guys don't like him. Because you guys already picked King Henry to go there. So
we already picked him, so he can't go there. I mean, I still wouldn't be surprised if he just resigns with the Raiders. I mean, I feel like the Raiders have done him dirty over the last few years. But I'm kind of like, who else signs him? I know guys are going to say a lot of these are injury prone. The guy goes down a lot too, which doesn't help his cause. But yeah, I think he just resigns with the Raiders.
Raiders, okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't really think that he's going to want to – oh, he might want to go somewhere else, but I think that that's probably the best spot for him. I would say that I wouldn't be surprised if a team in that division Chiefs maybe, or even the Chargers also look to try to get him. But again, I don't know if Josh Jacobs would even want to go cross division. So I don't really know what it is with Josh Jacobs. I would probably say that he resigns with the Raiders again as well.
Any thoughts on Josh Jacobs going to the Eagles or maybe even the Browns? Are you concerned on Nick Chubb and his health?
I'm not concerned on Nick Chubb and his health. He had a similar injury like this at Georgia, and he was pretty much fully healthy for what came after that. And I know this, I mean, it's the second time coming for this injury, so he's definitely going to be not the same Nick Chubb that we're seeing or that we're used to seeing. But I don't really want to take a big gash in the money category in terms of having to go fish out another good running back. I don't really want to do that. I think honestly that we should re-sign Kareem Hunt, and I do for a 1-year deal, and I think that him and even a banged up Nick Chubb would be totally fine with the offense that we have now.
You're not wrong with that, because I was going to talk about Kareem Hunt and the others free agent running backs, and saying that he should go back to Cleveland because the 1-2 punch between them was really good.
Yeah, no, it was. It was definitely up there for the best in the league, and it probably was for some time. There's that 1 year where Kareem Hunt went for like 1,200 yards and however many touchdowns alongside Nick Chubb, of course. I would like to bring in Kareem Hunt again.
Best kicker in the league, right? Best kicker in the league.
Listen, all I'm going to say is Dustin Hopkins went down for a couple of games, and we needed a kicker at the end of the game. And I would have loved seeing him trot out there, but Stefanski wasn't having it.
Okay. Well, let's get into Saquon Barkley. 9.9 market value, 3 years, $29.9 million. He's projected. This is a no-brainer in my opinion. I think he needs to go to Houston. Houston, we saw, needs a running back. Unfortunately, my boy Dameon Pierce was just not the guy. Get yourself Saquon Barkley. Dameon Pierce being the backup. That team, good playoff team, and I like Saquon Barkley a lot to the Texans.
I mean, shocking that another one of your boys wasn't the thing since we've had how many?
Lynn Bowden. Hey, by the way, Lynn Bowden's a free agent. Not to bring that up.
Lynn Bowden and Hunter Renfro, which he was fine for a while, but these were standouts. But I'm on the train with you. Barkley's a Texan. I think that's the missing piece for the offense for them, and that'd be a great move.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is probably the first clean sweep we're going to have. I think that Saquon Barkley should be a Texan. I love Stroud. He's balling and completely well-deserving of the Offensive Rookie of the Year. He just makes them so good, and I think that the run game is like the only thing that they're missing right now, considering the fact that their defense is really, really solid this year. Their corners need a little bit of work, but obviously they have Stroud. Nico Collins is one of the top receivers now. So I think the running game is their biggest need for improvement right now. Can't get much better than Saquon Barkley.
No. I mean, I think Saquon right now, based on age and everything, I think he's better than Jacobs and Henry for long-term running back, in my opinion. Let's go to Tony Pollard. I want to hear your thoughts on him. 6.5 market value, 2 years, 13 mil is his projection. What's your thoughts on Tony Pollard? Is he going to stay in Dallas, or is he going to find a new home?
Back with the Cowgirls. I don't really see him going anywhere else. I thought he was okay last season. Up and down, especially for fantasy. I think you regretted taking him where you did, but that was on you, because I think a lot of people were calling that it was too high. But yeah, I don't see him. I think he's back to the Cowgirls.
Okay. Yeah, he'll probably go back to the Cowboys, and I'm totally fine with that because he sucks. I'm not a Tony Pollard guy at all.
Not a Tony Pollard guy either.
I really don't like Tony Pollard. I think that, I mean, you can think what you want about Zeke. I think that they made a mistake getting rid of him. I think that they were a good 1-2 punch, and they thought they hit this gem in Tony Pollard, and come to find out that they really didn't. If I were to just throw out like a random team that I would like to see him go to, maybe Minnesota. I mean, I don't really know how I feel about. I don't really know how I feel about, Madison, and is Cam Akers even going to come back? I know he finished hurt, so I don't really know what the deal is there. He sucks as well. So
Cam Akers is a free agent,
Okay.
so I don't see him. I think injuries have hurt him a lot, and I don't think he'll be back with Minnesota. But I will also agree with you guys. There'll be another back-to-back sweep. I think Pollard will either go to the Cowboys or Cowgirls, wherever you guys want to call them. That's where he'll go, and I'm not really surprised. Austin Eckler, this one's a good one. Good name, 7.4 market value, 3 years, 22.3 projection. As much as I would love to see him go to the Patriots, I don't think the Patriots will get him. And I think he's actually going to stay in Los Angeles and with the Chargers.
I think that's the likely outcome. But who knows? I think he might maybe he ends up with the G-men at the Giants. They like to pay guys
Really?
stupid amounts when they're, you know what I mean? But he's I think he's over the hump now. I like Austin Eckler, but I don't. I think his best days could be behind him. And I wouldn't be surprised if they pay like silly money like that to keep.
You're saying he goes to the Giants?
I'm going to say maybe the Giants. Yeah, I think it's obvious that he goes back to the Chargers, but I'm just going to throw one out there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious to me. He'll probably re-sign with the Chargers. I don't even know if I can come up with a team to throw out there right now, but I really just think that's the only place that I think that's where he wants to go, honestly. So, especially considering the fact that he's got a brand new head coach.
Go to a winning team.
Yeah.
Winning team, and this team can have the potential to win. Ezekiel Elliott only projected to sign about a 1 year, $2.7 million contract. I think he played really well with the Patriots, in my opinion. I actually think he did very well when he was a Patriot, but I don't think he's going to go back to the Patriots. I think he's actually going to go back to Dallas, and I think Dallas is going to try and sign him and get the Zeke and Pollard show again.
I don't know why the Patriots wouldn't sign him. I thought, I agreed with you guys earlier when you said, I think it was Gary, you said that the Cowgirls shouldn't let him go. I mean, I think they thought he was washed. He's not. He can still go. He can still go. So if I was Patriots, I have no problem.
Yeah, but the Patriots are dumb like that sometimes.
They are. We know that, and it's half of their problem is they don't want to spend money. But this is not that much, so it should be, to me, it's obvious.
Still be stubborn. They didn't want to pay Jacoby Myers $1 extra million.
Oh yeah, well that was stupid.
On the team, it's just a Patriot move to not sign Zeke, even though they should.
I'm going to say he resigns with the Patriots.
Yeah, Patriots definitely should re-sign him. He played well, especially filling in the role for Ramondre Stevenson. I love Ramondre Stevenson. I've always been a Ramondre Stevenson fan, and I think that what we can see out of Ramondre Stevenson and Ezekiel Elliott is what Cowboys had for a couple of years with Zeke and Pollard. So I would like to see him re-sign there. Don't know if he will because, again, you said it yourself, Patriots don't really know what they're doing sometimes in terms of keeping guys like that around. I would hope that he resigns though.
Yeah, I hope he does resign. It's just a Patriot move not to. DeAndre Swift, Mr. Swifty, does he pair up with Kansas City and meet Taylor Swift? I don't know, but let's hear your opinions. Keith, I want to hear yours first. DeAndre Swift. Is he meeting Taylor Swift in Kansas City?
No, I would just say back with Philly. I don't really have a whole lot of opinion for Swift. I mean, I think the Eagles are going to have a bit of a change anyways, but I'm just going to say he lands back with them.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't really thought too much about Swift. I loved him on the Lions, and it always seems to me like this is what's happening now too, that Dan Campbell or just the Lions organization as a whole doesn't really know what they have. I mean, I think that what they have now with Gibbs and David Montgomery is along the same lines of what they had with Swift and who am I forgetting?
Williams.
Yes, exactly. So I think that I think that DeAndre Swift going to the Eagles was a great move, especially considering the fact that he played good. I didn't really know what to think of that move, and I guess you could say I was proven wrong because, again, he played great. I would like to see him re-sign with the Eagles. I think that he could be a key player or a key factor to their success. I don't really know what to think of the Eagles as a whole. I mean, does anybody?
Yeah, I mean, Eagles, they have some issues. They'll need to figure out whether or not A.J. Brown's even going to stay there because there's rumors he's going to get traded, which if he does, that'll be shocking. That'll shock the world. DeAndre Swift. So I think Ramondre Stevenson is going to be the bell cow running back. I think he faced some injuries here and there last season, and that's why they're not going to sign Zeke. They're going to sign DeAndre Swift. They need a James White type of player in that offense, and DeAndre Swift is that guy.
I was right. We're going to see the Patriots in every level, and we haven't even got to wide receiver and tight end yet.
I mean, I feel like they would just get DeAndre Swift because it's kind of the James White role that we saw that Swift can produce in. And you have Zeke as the bell cow. I mean, Zeke as the bell cow. Ramondre as the bell cow, and then Swift as the pass catcher. I think that makes sense. For fantasy value, Ramondre takes a hit. But I think Swift would be a Patriot. Could be a Patriot easily.
I'll let you just have it.
Yeah,
I'll let you just have it.
You guys don't like it at all.
Just have it.
I don't honestly. I don't mind it. I would honestly be happier with you guys signing Swift over Elliott, if that's genuinely my opinion. I mean, I agree. Ramondre is a bell cow guy, and if you want a guy that's going to be catching passes and making plays in your backfield, then pick up DeAndre Swift. I mean, we saw how he played in Philly, so I don't really hate that move.
J.K. Dobbins, a guy who has struggled with injuries. Obviously, he was in Baltimore, had the torn Achilles, torn ACL, just injuries battling left and right. He's only 25 years old. So there's still some hope with him in the running back situation. But obviously, we've learned that torn Achilles can sometimes kill any possible running back's careers. If there is any, do you think J.K. Dobbins is a starter, or is he going to be a backup for another team?
Here's your Kansas City line, I think.
J.K.
Because they can put him in as a backup or have him in, take a snaps here and there. And you've also kind of got, there's a chance, obviously there's going to be a chance now going forward that he always gets hurt. But, I mean, they have Pacheco there. They're a sure team. I mean, I think it could be a risk worth taking for them. You know what I mean? Because if he ends up, healthy, he could be a stud. So I think that's why maybe Chiefs would take a chance on him.
Okay. Yeah, I feel this is a touchy topic for me because I've always loved JK. I mean, he went to Ohio State and he was a beast there. And I thought watching that draft that so many teams were making mistakes with picking guys over him. I mean, the Chiefs could have drafted him. They could have drafted him at 32 at the end of the first round, but instead they went with Clyde. And I mean, whether you would like to say that they missed out on an opportunity or not, that's up to you. But I think that JK, even though he has had all these injuries, he's still a good back. And I don't really know where he would fit in anywhere else, but how does JK to the Rams sound?
The Rams, not a bad shout for him. I like that. I actually wouldn't mind that. Obviously, you have Kyron Williams, so it's not like he's going to be the starter there, right. But he's a guy that will be able to produce still if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, and that's why I think that to the Rams is not a bad move, especially seeing that he doesn't need to be the one there, like you said with Kyron there. He can get rest if he needs it and go in the not be a 3-down, 4-down set guy. So. I think he is going to go to the Falcons. Bijan's obviously the top guy, but I think they need some running back depth, especially Cordell Patterson not being there. I think they need running back depth, and I think J.K. Dobbins can be that backup to Bijan.
What about your friend? Who's the other guy out there that are running back that you like? In the Falcons?
Lynn Bowden?
No, there's not a running back in the Falcons that you like. You've mentioned a few times. I can't think of his name, but you've always.
He must not be that relevant.
Pretty relevant. I'm gonna see if I can find him, but you like them.
Tyler Algier.
There you go.
Oh.
He's another one on. He was on your list. Don't even start, Fernando. He was
on my list.
So
listen. He had some fantasy weeks that he did really good in. He just didn't get the opportunity that he had, just like Lynn Bowden.
Gary will get to know this. He has a list of his guys.
It's just the running backs, man.
End up way lower down tier guys.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but Fernando likes these guys.
I'm just trying to give some love. I'm just trying to give some love to these running backs that don't get enough love, guys. Relax.
We
But
appreciate it. It brings the humor.
Algier will Algier will
It
stay
does.
as a Falcon. He'll stay as a Falcon because I think he's not a free agent. I don't think he's a free agent this year. But JK will be ahead of him. I will be shocked if Algier is ahead of him. JK will be ahead of Algier, unfortunately.
Okay.
It's my thought. But that's our one running back. I think that we have every single landing spot different. Falcons for me, Chiefs for you, Keith, and Rams for you, Gary, for J.K. Dobbins. He could really go anywhere to any team, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he's one with question marks all over him, and then watch the Ravens will just re-sign him. Then watch.
I wouldn't be surprised either. A lot of other free agent running backs: Cordell Patterson, Damian Harris, Devin Singletary, Cam Akers, Kareem Hunt, A.J. Dillon, and Antonio Gibson. Keith, one of my other guys.
One of your guys, he's not, but like I actually think he's talented. He just got a raw deal for a while.
Yes. Patterson's projected 2.5 mil. Gus Edwards, Gus the Bus. Thomas loves him. $3.6 million he's projected. Damian Harris came in with no market value, so I'm not sure where we're going to be seeing Damian Harris. Wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots also try to get him on a very cheap deal. Singletary, $5.3 million. He's projected $5.3 million a year, and he's projected to sign a 3-year contract. I don't know what the market value is for that. I don't know why it is. Cam Akers, 4.1 mil. Kareem Hunt, 4.5. Dillon, 3.5, and Gibson, 3.6. Any of these guys really stand out to you guys that you think could have a landing spot in another place and have still a chance?
I mean, Kareem Hunt, I think Gary talked about it. He'd obviously be nice back at the Browns. Antonio Gibson sticks out to me. If he's used better, where I don't know, but he needs to get out of that Washington team and be used in a team that's actually gonna use him for his strengths. But Antonio Gibson sticks out to me as the best player, I think.
Yeah, really the only notable guys, in my opinion here, Kareem Hunt and Antonio Gibson. Like I mentioned earlier, I think that Cleveland needs to re-sign Kareem Hunt. He played really good this year. I don't remember exactly what his stats were, but I know he had 10-plus touchdowns. Antonio Gibson, I agree with you. I've always thought he was a really talented guy, and they just don't want to use him correctly. So I can agree in the sense that he needs to go somewhere else. A lot of these other guys, I think like Cordell Patterson is a serviceable guy, but not really somebody that I'd be really itching to get. Damian Harris, I think, has had his flashes in the past, but he's not really going to do anything now. Singletary, I've never been a fan of, and same thing with Akers. I especially think that Akers is pretty much done now with having a couple of those injuries. And you guys will probably soon find out that I am a tier 1 A.J. Dillon hater. The Packers are my favorite NFC team, and I love Aaron Jones, and I just don't like A.J. Dillon. That's all it is. So
he was supposed to be the next guy that was supposed to take over for Aaron Jones. I don't know what happened there.
He's just such a one-purpose back. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and he had such an odd season. Like he got going as the season was ending. I mean, he was so bad. It's like he put a ton of weight on and stuff. He looked like he had cement on his feet for most of it, and he just couldn't move. I don't know. I wouldn't be rushing out to re-sign him if I was the Packers anyway.
Yeah.
For me, I think Antonio Gibson, like you guys said, I think he's one of the best running backs out of this list. Another kind of dark horse is Damian Harris. I mean, I felt like he did really good when he was in New England, and then he just kind of fell off. But Antonio Gibson, I think a good shout for him. I'd like to see him go to Minnesota. I think Minnesota would be not a bad option. Better than Cam Akers, in my opinion.
Way better.
Yeah, agreed.
Way better. But yeah, any other guys? I mean, here's the list of the running backs, teams with running back needs, possibility. About 16 teams. Half the league needs a running back. But before we end the show, I want to ask you guys: is the running back situation coming out of college? Are you nervous for the running back situation coming out of college? Because obviously, you have a lot of these big name running backs not getting a long-term contract, not getting paid. Do you have any concerns with that?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm not a stud coming out, I want to make sure I'm good. Yeah, I want to make sure I'm a good catching passes and stuff like that. Like I think I brought it up to you before. Like the way the market's going, I think you're going to see a lot of these guys trying to switch to wide receiver and try and get slot receiver, anything like that, just purely because the market value and the money is way better. So like if you're one of these guys that like you're hoping just to make a team, I think you're gone. You're done. Like maybe you can do something on special teams or something, but I don't think you're making any sort of realistic money in the NFL, just the way the NFL or the running back market is going.
Mhm.
Yeah, right. If you're not one of the top guys, then you're just going to be bounced around in the league for minimum deals, and you'll get work to and from, but you're not really going to get exactly what you want again if you're not one of those top guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think personally, in my opinion, I think you might see some running backs try to transition to just wide receivers because of the fact that wide receivers, they're going to get paid more than these running backs. And realistically, these teams that are drafting running backs, it's only 4 years and a 4-year contract, maybe 5 if you get drafted in the first round. But I don't know if we're going to see a running back really get drafted in the first round in a while, because obviously recently James Cook got drafted in the first round. Where has he turned out? Nowhere, really. So that's my thought. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add on that.
I mean, I think you need to be a stud. I don't think James Cook's that bad. I just think it's the way they use him. I think it's kind of his landing spot there, right? But yeah, I think you need to be like, you're going to be on the McCaffrey level soon to get picked in the first round. I mean, that's not going to happen often.
Yeah. I want to throw out like, we look at Blake Horn, right? Like he's like the best back in the nation, and he's projected to be drafted in the second round. Like it's crazy. We watch him absolutely tear up defenses, and he's not a top guy on any of these teams' lists. And it's like, if that's what's being set as the best back in the draft, a second round pick, mid second round pick, it's kind of a sad looking future for the position.
Could be a wide receiver and get drafted in the 3rd overall pick, or even second by Marvin Harrison. But Frank Gore Jr., he's going to be in this draft, late in this draft. Watch him. Watch out for him. I want to see where he lands.
Nah.
No
one's worried.
Oh, okay, well, I'd like to see where he lands. I think there's a possibility he could have a role in the future with the team. We'll see. But that's going to do it here in today's show. Once again, I was joined by my great co-host, Keith. Follow him all over social media at SwampDonkey_90 and on Instagram at HuddleUp_NFL. Also, we got our new co-host, Gary Dombeck. Go follow him at Instagram at Gary.Dombeck. I'm Fernando. I'm your host of Sports Time HQ. We'll see you all next week.